This is right now, to me, the best backcourt in the NBA. And people could talk about LaMelo Ball and they could not like him, but the one man this man loves is adversity. His entire life, when everybody has been going right, he goes left. This is a perfect match. Well done by the Minnesota Timberwolves. If I'm Anthony Edwards, I'm thrilled, and I'm excited to see this Minnesota Timberwolves take place next season.
The Charlotte Hornets just shocked the entire NBA. Not because they made a trade, not even because they traded a star, because of who they traded and why. LaMelo Ball. 6 years in Charlotte, the face of that franchise, the most popular player they'd had in a decade, is gone. Traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Naz Reid and a mountain of draft capital. And just like that, in the span of one phone call, the NBA has a brand new problem on its hands. Because now, Anthony Edwards has a running mate, a real one. You're looking at the number 1 and number 3 picks from the 2020 draft, 2 of the most electric offensive players of their generation, about to share a backcourt in Minnesota. And if you think for a second the rest of the Western Conference isn't paying attention, you haven't been watching the last 3 years of Timberwolves basketball. Edwards has carried that team to back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances and a second-round exit this season. He's averaged a career-best 28.8 points per game. He's won the All-Star Game MVP. He's done everything a franchise player can do. And every single postseason, defenses figured out the answer. Send 2 guys. Dare everyone else to beat you. That answer no longer exists. Because now, you have to choose. Do you double Ant? Now, LaMelo's shooting 10 threes at you. Do you stay home on LaMelo? Now, Ant's cooking his guy in isolation with zero help coming. The NBA doesn't have a good answer for that, and they're about to find out just how bad the problem is. To understand what this trade really means, you have to go back to the summer of 2020. The Minnesota Timberwolves had the number 1 overall pick, and they had a choice. LaMelo Ball, the flashy, creative 6'7" point guard with a playing style unlike anything the NBA had ever seen, was right there. Some analysts had him as the best prospect in the entire class. Some scouts wanted him number 1. Minnesota said no. They took Anthony Edwards instead, and Ball went number 3 to Charlotte. Fast forward 6 years, and now Minnesota paid a massive price. Naz Reid, their most beloved player, plus an unprotected 2033 first-round pick, 3 first-round pick swaps in 2028, 2029, and 2030, and 3 more second-rounders just to get both of them on the same team. That's how much the calculus changed. But let's talk about why it changed, because this isn't just about wanting LaMelo. This is about the Timberwolves finally admitting what they've needed for 3 years and what the evidence has been screaming for just as long. When Karl Anthony Towns got traded to New York, Edwards lost something crucial. Towns could shoot. He could pull defenses out of the paint. He kept help defenders honest, which kept driving lanes clean for Edwards to operate. The moment he was gone, teams stopped pretending. They just sent 2 bodies at Ant every single possession and dared the rest of that roster to beat them. And the rest of that roster couldn't. ESPN's Brian Windhorst put it bluntly.
He's tired of being double-teamed. They get him a dynamic scorer in the backcourt. You throw a double team in Ant Edwards with LaMelo Ball on the court, you are playing with fire.
Julius Randle, who Minnesota traded to Brooklyn this week, never fully solved the problem. He was a good scorer, but he wasn't the kind of player who could punish teams in the way a defense double-teaming a superstar can be punished. He didn't shoot threes at a threatening rate. He didn't create for others at a threatening rate. Defenses accepted the cost. So the Wolves went and got someone who changes the cost entirely. Here's something worth understanding about LaMelo Ball before we talk about what he does to this Timberwolves roster. A lot of people still aren't sure what to make of him. His style has never made the traditional basketball crowd comfortable. The one-legged threes, the no-look passes most point guards wouldn't even see, let alone attempt. The step-backs from absurd distances. Robert Horry called him the most unserious player in the league. Critics pointed at his injury history. 141 missed games in the 3 seasons from 2022 to 2025, and called him fragile. A team with $203.9 million invested in him sat around hoping he could stay on the floor. But then 2025-26 happened, and LaMelo answered everything. He played 72 regular season games. 72. That's more than he'd played in any single season since his second year. For only the second time in his career, he crossed the 60-game mark, and he didn't just survive the season, he transformed Charlotte. He averaged 20.1 points, 7.1 assists, and 4.8 rebounds. He was one of just 15 players in the entire NBA to average over 7 assists per game. He finished second in the league in three-pointers made with 272, and his turnovers? The lowest they'd been since his rookie year. LaMelo Ball just had the most complete, most efficient, most disciplined season of his career, and Charlotte went on a run that nobody saw coming. The Hornets started 11-23. They looked like a lottery team, but from January 1st to the end of the regular season, they had the #1 offense in the entire NBA. They went 33-15 in that stretch to close the season. They beat the Knicks, the Thunder, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Celtics. They went to the play-in, and LaMelo dropped 30 points and 10 assists in an overtime win over Miami before losing to Orlando in the final round. Charlotte finished with 44 wins, their most since 2016. And then the Hornets traded him. That part still stings a little, honestly, because LaMelo was just starting to give Charlotte fans something real. The young core was in place. Ball, Brandon Miller, Rookie of the Year candidate Con Knuppel. The momentum was real, but the Hornets listened to offers. Multiple teams came calling, and when Minnesota's package came through, loaded with future picks plus Naz Reid, Charlotte took the long view. They're building a team that can sustain contention for a decade. LaMelo is the piece they dealt to accelerate it. Let's talk about Anthony Edwards for a second, because this whole trade starts and ends with him. He had a career-best season, 28.8 points per game, career highs in field goal percentage, 48.9%, career highs in three-point percentage, 39.9%. He was the All-Star Game MVP. He had 16 fourth-quarter points in a must-win Game 4 against the Spurs this postseason, hitting shots that most players wouldn't even attempt, let alone make. He is 24 years old, and he's already one of the best players on the planet. And the Timberwolves still got eliminated in the second round, not because Edwards failed. He averaged 25.9 points per game in his playoff career. He showed up, he competed. He was the best player on his team every single night. But he was carrying a broken offense into games against a San Antonio team that had figured out exactly how to stop it. The Spurs outscored the Wolves by 97 combined points in that 6-game series, 100 points, virtually, in one playoff series, against a team Edwards was trying to win with everything he had. After the series ended, Minnesota president Tim Connolly was direct.
Everything's on the table.
The problem was obvious to everyone who watched. When defenses collapsed on Edwards, nobody else could consistently punish them for it. The Wolves finished 20th in assist-to-turnover ratio during the regular season because they just didn't have a traditional point guard running things. They didn't have someone who could whip a cross-court skip pass the moment the double came, who could hit threes off the catch at a rate that scared defenders, who could actually create his own shot if a play broke down. Enter LaMelo Ball. Minnesota could have picked him 6 years ago. They didn't. Now they've paid a premium to get him. And the question the entire NBA should be asking right now is whether there was ever a better version of the Timberwolves math problem. Here's why this backcourt specifically is a nightmare for the rest of the league. Think about what it looks like on the floor. Edwards coming off a screen, drawing 2 defenders. LaMelo ball handling at the top of the key. You collapse on Ant. LaMelo sees the rotation, fires a step-back 3, 36.8% from deep last season, one of the highest marks of his career. You stay home on LaMelo. Ant attacks the closeout with that first step that nobody in the league can match. And here's what makes it even scarier. Both of these guys are 24 years old. Both are under contract through the 2028-29 season. They are the same age. They were the same draft class. This isn't a veteran pairing with a 3-year window. This is a combination that, if it works, could run together for the next half-decade. The 2020 draft was one of the most discussed in recent memory. People spent months debating whether Edwards or Ball was the right pick at number 1. Minnesota chose Edwards. Charlotte got Ball. The debate never fully went away. It's just been playing out on 2 different rosters for 6 years. Now it stops. Now Minnesota doesn't have to choose. They have both of them, the numbers 1 and 3 picks from that draft, sharing a locker room, sharing a backcourt, sharing a mission. And they're playing alongside Jaden McDaniels, one of the most underrated two-way wings in the NBA, locked in through 2028 to 29 as well. In front of Rudy Gobert, who despite questions about his age, remains one of the most impactful defensive centers in the game when he's on the floor. The ceiling of this team is genuinely frightening, but there are real questions that nobody should skip over. LaMelo's injury history is the biggest one. He's played more than 60 games exactly twice in his career. This past season was one of those times, and it was the most promising he's looked. But the Timberwolves just emptied their entire draft cupboard to build around 2 players, one of whom has missed nearly 60% of possible games over 3 seasons. If Ball gets hurt, if Edwards goes down, if the chemistry takes time to find, Minnesota has no safety net, no picks to rebuild with, no assets to trade for help. They're all in. The defense is the other question. LaMelo has never been a willing or particularly effective defender. Edwards is legitimate on that end. Gobert protects the rim. But who guards 2 guards in a backcourt where one of them actively avoids switching? Teams are going to hunt LaMelo in playoff series the same way they've always hunted him. And in a Western Conference that has the Spurs, the Thunder, and the Lakers, this isn't a regular season problem. This is a May problem. Gobert's also on a clock. He's not getting younger, and losing Naz Reid, who had become his ideal backup, hurts the depth around the big man considerably. So this isn't a guaranteed title, not even close. But here's the honest truth about this roster. If it works, nobody has an answer for it. The league has had scary duos before. Kobe and Shaq's backcourt-frontcourt connection, Curry and Thompson, Wade and LeBron for 4 seasons in Miami. But those combinations were built around complementary play styles and championship infrastructure that surrounded them. This is different. This is 2 players who both need the ball, both want to create, and both have the kind of star power that changes how a defense has to be designed every single night. There's more chaos here, more unpredictability, more ways to hurt you from more places on the floor at the same time. You double Ant. LaMelo kills you. You stay home on LaMelo. Ant kills you. You try to guard both of them straight up? Good luck. They're both 24. They're both at or near the peaks of their powers. They both play with a recklessness and a flair that makes them nearly impossible to game plan against for an entire series. The Hornets made a cold, calculated franchise-first decision to trade the most popular player in their history and grab future assets that give them a decade of flexibility. They're not wrong to do it, but Minnesota? Minnesota just made a bet, a massive all-chips-in, no-safety-net bet on the idea that Anthony Edwards plus LaMelo Ball equals something the Western Conference can't handle. And honestly, looking at what both of these players just did this season, the numbers, the moments, the shots, it's hard to argue with the logic. LaMelo Ball just had the best season of his career. Anthony Edwards has been one of the top 5 scorers in the NBA. And now, they're on the same team, in the same city, in the same backcourt. The 2020 draft class is no longer divided between Charlotte and Minnesota. It's all in Minnesota. And the rest of the league has a serious problem. Drop a comment below. Do you think Edwards and LaMelo can get the Wolves to the finals? Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and check out one of these videos on your screen now.